AITAH? My husband wants a divorce and wants us to keep the house. My husband, 32, and I, 30, have been married for 10 years. Recently, he told me that he wanted a divorce because he wasn't happy. He came to the conclusion that he never really wanted to be married and wants to focus on his military career. I had always supported his career. I asked him for couples therapy because all of the problems he said we had were things that could be fixed, but he refuses and said our marriage can't be fixed. I have no choice but to let him go. However, he believes that him and I can still live in our house and live our separate lives, and he's already dating a girl from work. I cannot do this. When I told him that I wasn't comfortable with him dating yet, he accuses me of wanting to prevent him from moving on. I made it clear that if he wishes to date, he can do so, but I will not sit here and watch him do it because it kills me. I told him that I need to get away from him so that I can heal, and I refuse to live in the house while he goes off and starts a whole new life while somehow maintaining his old one. I told him I want to sell the house, and he's accusing me of trying to ruin him financially, especially because our mortgage is so low. I'm currently half a year away from my bachelor's degree that would allow me to find a steady job, as the job that I currently have now does not pay enough for me to live on my own. However, I have a large support system that is willing to help me. So basically what I'm asking is AITAH for wanting to move on with my life, even if it means that I have to force him to sell our house. To add some details, our marriage hasn't been great for a while, and I knew this. So the last 6 months I've been trying to fix things. He, however, has told me he wanted this divorce months ago and was building up the courage to ask for the divorce. I know that what he's asking for is delusional, but I guess I feel bad because he gave me a portion of his GI Bill for my schooling, which he's now threatening to take away. That's no big deal because, again, I have a good support system. I am graduating with a science degree, and in my area I know I can find a good job with it. He just assumed that since we always got along well, that I would go along with his plan. First comment, we were in Germany and no babysitter. I don't remember that part. My mom told me about it later. He wanted to know what all was going on and if there was anything he could do to help, like throw him in jail. His words. She said she just wanted to leave and take me with her. My dad is a narcissist and was verbally a sieve to my mother, and says me she did not know at the time, but he was ready to throw the book at him. He only got off because she needed the child support, and my dad could not hold a job other than the army, and even then it was by his teeth until 1992 when he was dishonorable discharged for, say, my half-sister. The reason the co took my mom to lunch was because my mom was a well-liked person and they all felt she could do better. My mom won full sole physical and legal custody, which I am told is hard to get. He basically had his rights taken away, but not enough so that he could pay child support, and I stayed on Tricare. He was not allowed to visit it without her okay, and he was not allowed to take me anywhere. Not that he would have tired after I was 5. I saw him a total of 16 times since then, and I am 47 now. I know even then what was going on. My mom never said a word until one day when I was in my teens and I brought up a woman he was sleeping with, and I remember I was at her house to play with her son so they could screw. My mom had no idea that I knew anything until that day. I also described the woman and she knew who it was. Her husband, I guess, was an MP, so if they had got caught, that would have been an even bigger deal. These things are so commonplace in the military, that is why I think they are still so strict about it. It's a regular soap opera on base. Second comment, his is messed up and wrong. Just saying I want a divorce does not equate to an actual divorce. He's considered married until he is actually divorced. They're both in violation of Article 134 of the UCMJ. He's trying to hide the fact that he is not divorced by keeping you in the house. If you have been married for at least 10 years and he has been in the military for at least 10 years of the marriage, you are entitled to half his retirement benefits, and it will be paid to you directly from the government, bypassing the ex. It's called the Uniformed Services Former Spouses Protection Act. As for the GI Bill, he has the right to take it away. He also might be guilty of fraternization, based upon rank and job duties titles. There's also other things they could be hit with if they were on duty or at work. Like others said, get a lawyer versed in military law divorce. I'd be making a phone call to the base and talking to the co. If my cheating spouse was trying to blackmail me by threatening to take back the GI Bill he allowed me to use if I didn't comply with his demands so he could continue to cheat with impunity, I'd also be dropping that little nugget of knowledge into the conversation with the co. Don't let him screw you over. He knows what he's doing is wrong. He wants to have his cake and eat it too. Good luck, op. Third comment, your husband is a fool. If he can't wait to date until after the divorce or after he's moved out, then he can deal with the consequences. If he starts harassing you, take it to his co. They will remove him from the home and put him in the barracks where he can date without worry. Make sure you've got financial documents and all of that in order and start the divorce process. If he moves his pay to a bank account you don't have access to, he will be ordered to continue to provide or suffer those consequences. My ex decided he didn't want to be married and I tried to fix things. Next thing I know, a coworker of his, maybe his I don't remember exactly, told me on the DL that he had put in a vacation request for Hawaii. I guess maybe the way he'd been planning it, she caught on that it wasn't a family trip and wanted me to know. Despite my pleas for him not to, and he took all of our passports, we were out of the country, so I couldn't go home with my kids if I wanted to. I still had no idea he was cheating on me, and the trip was to meet with the woman he'd met online. I cried for a few days and then thought maybe he'd gone to kill himself. After digging around his social media accounts, I found out he was with another woman. He didn't leave me any way to contact him in an emergency, so I called his and got it that way. Then I contacted him and told him I knew what he was doing. He tried to deny it, but failed. I emptied our back safe for a few $100s and let him figure it out. The other woman could pay for all I care. Turns out he effing blogged the whole vacation, including pictures of her in his uniform and with her legs around him. Hubby wants to be unmarried, let him have it, and all the consequences that comes with it. Also, with the GI Bill and benefits, you earn those with your support of him during your marriage while he is serving. Don't let him make you think otherwise. Fourth comment, honey, he's wanting to have his cake and eat it too, and is using that we're legally divorced as a pass to do so. He wants to move on but doesn't want you to. That's BS and you both know it, so he's trying to gaslight and guilt you into giving in to what he wants. If he doesn't want to sell the house, fine. He can pay you half the equity and keep it for himself and his side piece. Tell him that's your stipulation. He can either go along with that and settle everything amicably, or you'll get an attorney and let the lawyers and the legal system work it out. Don't back down. FYI, if he's in the US military, dating while legally married is illegal and can technically lead to court-martial. Obviously, that's not going to happen in the real world, but if you report him and his girl from work, it can have a major impact on both their careers. You said he wants to focus on his military career, so he definitely won't want to stain this big on his record. Let him know you have that card in your pocket and will play it if needed. He will accuse you of trying to ruin his career, but all he has to do is follow through with a fair divorce and the threat will be neutralized. Don't let him guilt you or bully you up. Moving on means moving on with his own life and taking care of his own business. It does not mean he can drag you along to keep his life easy. You cannot set yourself on fire to keep him warm. He either sells the house or buys you out, or you go to the court and maybe his Good luck. Please, update me about how you're doing.